Hello, and welcome to Digital Essentials, a course designed to help older adult caregivers and recipients of care navigate and understand the digital world. This course is presented by Senior Planet from AARP as a part of a CDC Foundation project. My name is Ilse Duarte, and I'm a technology trainer here at Senior Planet. This session is a part of a course that demonstrates how digital tools and platforms can help make everyday tasks easier and can be used to improve physical and mental well-being. I'm very excited you chose to attend this series, and I hope you will enjoy this video. This is Connecting on Social Media. So let's start. So I will be talking about social media today, and we will be covering these topics. Why do people connect on social media? I will talk about some common social media terms, and I will be focusing on 4 social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And I will end the presentation with some privacy recommendations and useful tips for you. Why do people connect on social media? It is an instantaneous way to communicate with people. You post something and people will be able to see your post right away. It's similar to email that way. You hit send and somebody checking their email will be able to see it in just a few seconds or a couple of minutes. With social media, that is similar. It's that fast. And it's a good way to stay up to date with your friends and family members, especially those of us who have friends and relatives in different states, different cities. It's a good way to stay in touch. And you can also keep up with what is going on in certain organizations. For example, organizations devoted to understanding aging and giving us information about different issues, especially in our case about caregiving or being the recipients of care. Social media have a potential for education. We can learn a lot by being part of social media. People often share news, local, national, international. They go online, they read an article, and they share it with others via social media. And it's also a good way to keep up to date with people, what people are talking about in our society, in our community. So it's a good way to stay in the know. What are some topics that people are talking about? What is the big deal, or maybe that there isn't a big deal, but it's something interesting that we may learn about what people are talking about. And finally, it's a good form of entertainment too. People share jokes, they share cartoons, they share perhaps a new show that you didn't know about, and they have a recommendation for you. So all those are reasons why people join social media. Let's talk about some social media terms. What is the lingo? What is the language that people use? So you write an email, you send an email. How about social media? It's not an email, it's a post. So the content you share is called a post. And we will see that with Twitter, it's specifically called a tweet. So post is the content that you share on any social media platform. And people follow each other. You will choose to follow others, others will choose to follow you. And that means that you will be able to see the content on their feed. Feed is next. We do use the word subscribing on our slide, but that doesn't mean you're paying for anything. It's free to join these social media platforms. But you will, by following someone, you're agreeing that you're going to receive the content that they post, and vice versa. People following you agree to receive and read, or not read, but receive the content that others post. So the feed is what you see on your screen. So it's your posts and the posts of everybody that you are following. So it shows on your screen and you scroll down to see the next post. You will also see hashtags, the pound sign. Hashtags introduce a certain topic that is organic. It's generated by the users themselves. That's why we call them organic. They are created organically. They come from the user's interest. For example, if a user is talking about, yay, it's Friday, TGIF, they can create that hashtag TGIF. Other very famous ones are hashtag BLM, Black Lives Matter, hashtag Me Too. It doesn't have to be these big movements, but it is a topic that is then searchable. You can use the search box on your social media platform, on your app, to search for these topics. Maybe the topic you're looking for is not a hashtag yet. You can create it yourself. And finally, the @ symbol is actually part of your handle. It's not on my list, but your handle is your user ID on social media platforms, not Facebook, but Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So you have a handle, that's your user ID. Sometimes it is your name, sometimes not. In our case, we have the handle @SeniorPlanet. And if you want to mention Senior Planet on your post, you can use that handle. You will be tagging Senior Planet. Suppose you want to make sure somebody in particular reads that post. You can tag them by saying, suppose I have a cousin named Louis Johnson, and that's his handle. So I can write @Louis Johnson, and he will receive a notification that I am tagging him, that I am directing that tweet to him. And now we will move on to Facebook. Facebook is a giant of social media. It is a pioneer. You may have heard of Mark Zuckerberg, sorry. He created Facebook in his college days to keep track of other college students and to get connected via the then new internet. And then it grew to be this enormous social media platform. On Facebook, you can create an in-depth profile, meaning that you can add to your profile a lot of information. Where you're from, where you went to school, where you work, and that is up to you. It is up to you to choose how many of these types of information to share on your Facebook profile. Sometimes headhunters are not sometimes, oftentimes headhunters go on Facebook to look for people with the qualifications they're looking for. And you might even be able to find long lost friends. I did. I found childhood friends because I found a group of people who went to my elementary school. So again, it's up to you how much information you want to add to your profile, but on Facebook, you are able to create an in-depth profile. And once you create your account, you friend people, you invite people to be your friends on Facebook. Even if they are your relatives, it's still called being friends on Facebook. So you can network with a large number of people or small. That is your choice. And on Facebook, there is an app called Messenger that you can use to text people quickly and immediately. You type your message and they can receive it right away. And when you have a family care team, you can imagine how important that can be, that ability to text right away. and receive a response very quickly as well. You can share pictures on Facebook. A lot of people do. You can write a caption, as you see on our illustration there, open thread, senior life hacks, and you can add information that goes along with that picture. A lot of people do both, post a picture and write a caption of sorts. People who follow you can like your post, they can comment on it, they can share it with others as well. There is cross-platform integration on Facebook, and that means that when you post something, you will see that you will have the option to post that same post on Twitter and Instagram as well. Instagram is owned by Facebook. Twitter is not, but still, you will have that option to post the same post on all three platforms. That's what we mean by cross-platform integration. And you can find your online community on Facebook. A lot of people are on Facebook. So is it a support group that you're interested in? Or is it something completely different? A break from your caregiving tasks? Do you want a walking group? Do you want do you want a book club, for example? All of these are possible because you can get connected on Facebook with a lot of people. What can you do on Facebook? Besides all of this, I'm going to show you a menu. So when you are looking at your Facebook feed, your Facebook main page, so you can see if you're following OATS, if you are have the ability to get the posts from OATS, you will see right there an announcement. And on the left, you have other things that you can do. And notice that in the upper left corner, you have the search box. You can search for people, places, and companies, organizations. So you can find friends. You can create a group. We do have a video on creating a Facebook group, so look out for that. You can look for a job. You can see what jobs are being posted. You can buy things in the marketplace. You can watch videos, so you can go down that menu, and we encourage you to explore all the features, all the functions of Facebook. There's a lot that you can do. And in the upper right corner, you see the icon for Messenger, the text app that I was telling you about. Now we will move on to Twitter. Twitter is quite different in some ways, but it is similar to Facebook because you do get real-time updates and you can communicate with anybody on Twitter that allows you to follow them and to communicate with them. So you can follow your friends or you can follow experts in the field. A lot of organizations have a Twitter account because Twitter is so popular, so they want that reach. Let me give you examples of important organizations that have Twitter accounts. Centers for Disease Control, their handle is at CDC Gov. National Council on Aging, their handle is at NCO Aging. And you've seen Senior Planet, you may have seen Senior Planet at Senior Planet. So it's a good way to keep up to date with the latest from your friends and family and experts. So as I said, you can follow people and people can follow you. And instead of inviting people to be friends with you, you follow them and they can follow you. And when you establish your Twitter account, you can choose whether it's going to be a public account or a private account. Public, anybody can see your tweets. Your posts on Twitter are called tweets. And private, if it is a private account, you choose who can see your posts and who can follow you. Sorry, your tweets, who can see your tweets. Some people use Twitter for publicity and networking. So if you have a group on Facebook. You can announce it on Twitter. If you have a business, you can advertise it on Twitter. Twitter is very good about for networking as well, because as Twitter sees your interests, so it's using algorithms to look for patterns, the Twitter sees what your interests are and will suggest people for you to follow, so your networking can increase. You can choose to follow or not to follow people suggested to you, but that is a tool that is that you can make use of. Twitter is used for information dissemination. So remember, I mentioned people can share articles from reputable sources. Hopefully that's what they're doing. They are disseminating information, but you need to be careful. You need to be looking at the reliability of those sources. A lot of people tweet about news and current events, so it's an extra way to keep up to date with it. But we recommend keeping your sources of information wide. Don't rely only on Twitter. Do reach out, do look at different sources of information for your news. You see the celebrity gossip item there. You may see that it comes with the territory. You don't have to pay attention to it. You can even mute those posts, those tweets, if you like. But once you sort through what is relevant to you, there's a great potential for you for learning, for networking. And my last item, activism. So a big hashtag right now is voting rights. People are mobilizing, people are telling each other about marches for voting rights. We have our Aging with Attitude hashtag, and you can see if there are any movements or any events that you would like to participate in. So there is having to do with aging, having to do with caretaking, and that can be a good place for activism for you. We will move on to a tweet right now, an example of a tweet. And of course, this is a tweet from Senior Planet. So you see that there's a focus on text. You can add photos, short videos. You can even add a link, as you see in blue. That's a link that Senior Planet is telling you about, suggesting that you check out this other, this one web page. One thing to keep in mind about our tweets is that they are limited to 280 characters. That's roughly 2 sentences, and that includes spaces and punctuation. If you have more to say, you're not done, you send that tweet and you start another one as a thread. There is a way, but each separate tweet is going to have to be limited to 280 characters. And as I said, content is public unless you choose to have a private account. That is up to you. That depends on how many people you want to reach and also how comfortable you are on this platform. Now, the next platform is Instagram. Instagram is photo-based. That's what we mean by image-focused platform. Everybody needs to start with a picture. That's how the post starts. A lot of us do use a sentence or two, sometimes more, as an explanation, as elaboration on the picture. Sometimes the picture speaks for itself. So because you're using this on your telephone, this is a phone app mostly, the pictures come from your telephone, and just as you can do on your telephone. When you are on Instagram, you can add filters. You may have used these filters on your phone to make this picture brighter or sharper or black and white, or to add fun images to it, or you can handwrite on it. Different filters, different things you can do to have the picture the way you want it to appear. So you see that there's a heart there. You can see a heart. That's how where people click to like your your post on Instagram, you see a bubble. That's how people comment on that post. You can share it. And one thing I forgot to say is that Instagram is sometimes shortened to Insta. So if you hear Insta, that's what it means, Instagram. So just like Twitter and Facebook, Instagram uses hashtags and @ symbols. So hashtags for topics that are searchable, and you can create a hashtag anytime, and the @ symbols when you want to tag someone. As I mentioned, Instagram is owned by Facebook. Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion in 2012. So what are these features that are unique to Instagram? At the very top of your feed, the main screen that you see when you're looking at Instagram, you can have a story, and a story can be an image with something that you write right on the picture itself. And that's independent from whatever else you are posting. That stays there for 24 hours. Maybe you just voted. There's a special election here in California, and I just voted. So I could take a picture, selfie, with my I voted button, and I could have that as my story, which is independent of the other Instagram posts, and it would be there for 24 hours. After 24 hours, Instagram takes it down. Live means that you are able to broadcast something live. Of course, you would tell your friends, I'm going to interview somebody about aging, or I'm going to tell you about an experience I had with a particular healthcare provider. I want to tell you about my chart app, the My Chart app, whatever it is that you want to talk about. You tell people ahead of time, and then at that time, they check their Instagram, and they will be able to see you on your live presentation or interview, whatever it is you're doing. Reels are similar to stories, but they're videos, and they do stay there on your feed more than 24 hours, but they are short. They're about a minute long. And finally, you can shop on Instagram. You can find a vendor, because as we told you, a lot of people use these social media for advertising. So you may find a vendor that you're interested in and buy their products right on Instagram. And finally, we're going to talk about TikTok. TikTok is videos only, and it is a Chinese company, a Chinese platform, but everybody around the world uses it. So when you create your account with TikTok, or if you want to see a TikTok video, it's not going to be only in Chinese, not to worry. It is for everybody, but it was created by a Chinese company. It is app-based, like the other social media platforms. And these are 50 to 60-second videos. A lot of young people use it, but not only young people, people of all ages use these videos. There are many ways to edit the footage. Just like Instagram, you can play with that picture. With your videos, it's similar. You can edit them. You can add text right to the video. You can add bubbles. You can add other graphics to make it fun or to make your point better. A lot of people use this to share personal experiences, but a lot of people use it to educate others and to combat misinformation. You may see a doctor making a plea on TikTok saying, do everything you can to stay safe, get vaccinated, wear your masks, and so on. And a lot of famous people use these platforms for these educational opportunities and opportunities to combat misinformation. Now let's move on to recommendations. remember that for every single one of these social media, you will need to create an account, and that's for your protection, because you need to have a unique user ID and a unique password. So you and only you will be accessing this account. And as we have advised our participants in other sessions, create a strong and unique password for each platform. And Senior Planet advises against using the same credentials for different platforms. That's called linking different platforms. Avoid doing so. Do not sign into a third-party platform using your Facebook credentials. Let me give you an example. When I was about to create my Spotify account, I was prompted to use my Facebook credentials. I said no. Well, I didn't say it. I said it in my head, but I decided not to do it because it's unlikely that with a strong password, a hacker would be able to guess it and break into one of my accounts. But if that happens, that will affect that account only. So we don't want a hacker to get access to multiple accounts by guessing one user ID and password combination. And finally, be aware of the type of content that you are putting online. You may see these social media challenges. They are fun. Every now and then on Twitter, I hear one. So you may be invited to participate. Somebody sends you this. The car you passed your driver's test in is a Buick, is a, depending on what kind of car uh, you answer with, that may giving away your age. Do you want people to know that? Maybe yes, maybe not. And if you take a look at the questions, they sound a lot like questions that you may be prompted to answer as a security check when maybe somebody else tried to use your account and you want to use your account. You may be prompted to give the answer to your security question that you established when you created your account. For example, what is your mother's maiden name? What is the name of your first pet? See how they sound similar to the questions that we have on this slide, sound similar to the security questions. So think twice before answering those questions, because the information you're providing may be used for purposes other than the ones that you intended them to fulfill. And finally, be careful what you share online, because there are people with a lot of time on their hands and they're trying to get a lot of information so they can possibly steal your identity. There is software aiming at image and information scraping. That means that they're sweeping the web and trying to get information about people that they can use to steal their identities. And there's even facial recognition software. So be careful about the pictures that you share. I do have a picture on my Twitter profile. It is a headshot, but you may want to have a picture of your pet, a picture of a pet, a picture of flowers. That is up to you. So think about what kind of information you want you want to make available on these social media platforms. Use them for your purposes, and at the same time, be cautious about how you use these platforms. So that's what I wanted to share with you in this session. And please remember that this is one session out of the entire course. You can visit seniorplanet.org/caregiving to find the other videos in this series, along with handouts, instructional videos, and additional information. Thank you very much for joining me today. Goodbye.